Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. This is Ishan Isaac with Ishan on air every Sunday, 6 p.m. and onward, all over the world through social media platform as well as on the legacy media. And I would like to welcome all our YouTube viewers as well as Facebook Live viewers. We're live on both platforms and all over the social media. So if you have not subscribed my YouTube channel, please do. And some of the key information in terms of news and politics, economy, finance, and how it's tied with immigration. We'll cover a lot of these key topics today. And on Monday, there was this news about Gavin Newsom, who was traveling to a conference in Brazil, and he chided Democrats in the Senate who broke ranks on the shutdown, arguing that they foolishly decided that we are playing by the old set of rules, quote unquote, and had not adjusted to the new reality. He has sort of become a new troll with regards to the Trump administration's policies, and he's definitely being followed by millions of people, not only in California, outside of California as well. And he is definitely considered as one of the top contenders as the 2028 presidential election is concerned. So he is in the news, and he is also talking about the fury which the Washington Post has literally published in this recent news article about these 8 Democrat aligned senators who voted with the Republicans to end the longest ever government shutdown, highlights the dramatic shift in the Democratic Party less than a year into President Donald Trump's second term. As voters and lawmakers argue the party needs to adopt more ruthless tactics to counter the president and claw its way back to power. The Reuters, another news outlet, reported the U.S. House returns to Washington for vote to end government shutdown. The Washington Post reported this headline: "Shutdown defections spark fury as Democrats struggle to unify against Trump." So, what is going on? As we know, this is the longest ever shutdown, and at the end of the day, people are suffering. A lot of people, they need to have some government support, some subsidies, and those subsidies and government support because of the shutdown uh, dried. And then from the other side, from the Democrats, the case has been proposed or being made to the public that the wealth and the distribution of wealth is moving more toward the 1% or maybe 0.1% of the 1% of the population. So there's no wealth that is being lost. It is just being moved from one group to another group. And people who are at the lower end of the totem pole, they definitely need some kind of support. And at the end of the day, it's about people. So that's what is going on. And regardless of what political spectrum you belong to, on the right side or on the left side or somewhere in the middle, or maybe more reasonable person, that's what's at stake. So the Supreme Court keeps full SNAP payments on hold with short-term order. So now the Supreme Court is involved, and these are supposed to be administrative policies because each government, whoever is in power, it's incumbent upon them to ensure that a fair set of rules and a fair set of governance is provided across the United States of America. That is the role of the federal government. And then each state, they have their own different kinds of programs depending on the structure of that particular state, meaning sometimes the state is more liberal, sometimes the state is conservative, or somewhere in between. And the Supreme Court, when they are getting involved into these type of payments and these type of orders, that means there's fundamentally something wrong with regards to the administrative system, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level. And the Supreme Court on Tuesday extended a short-term order that allows the Trump administration to withhold covering full food stamp payments in November, a move that appeared designed to put this whole aspect of how these lawsuits are being shaped up, and at the end of the day also supporting the administration. This is what's happening in terms of real politics. So this supplemental nutrition assistance program, or SNAP as it's known, benefits that help more than 40 million Americans, as well as several lawsuits playing out in lower courts, would almost certainly be dismissed as moot if the historic shutdown ends in coming days. So the Washington Post has reported the lesson is there. There is power in unity and in members of Congress working in partnership with the grassroots community, unquote. That basically is now the word um, from the Democrats, as well as especially Governor Newsom. Quote, this is why so many people are feeling let down at this moment, because that unity was important, unquote. Beyond the shutdown, the party has also shifted course on redrawing congressional maps, retreating, retreating, retreating from past attempts to rely on independent commissions as Democrats fight a wave of Republican led efforts to alter maps in conservative led states. Governor, California Governor Gavin Newsom, he's a Democrat, led a successful campaign to redraw his state's map and won voter approval in a special election last week, prompting Democrats in states such as Virginia, Illinois, and Maryland to consider similar efforts. So, this is another aspect of how the representation of elected officials or people who are voted into power because of this gerrymandering and redrawing of these maps would fade away. There's no other way to put it. The Washington Post has also reported further in terms of how the reaction to the two votes on Sunday and Monday, which provide a pathway for the government to reopen after more than 40 days, was fierce. Republican Representative Ro Khanna, he's a Democrat from California, called for Senate Minority Leader Charles Schumer to be replaced. Struggling, he was suggesting he was ineffective leader, even though Schumer opposed the government funding measure. So very interesting scenarios, as we can tell that there's no unity within the Democratic ranks, and it's definitely helping the Republicans, regardless of what political ideology, what party you belong to, who you support, who you don't support, or if you're more pragmatic or if you're in the middle. People are getting impacted negatively. That's basically the word on Main Street. The Washington Post, the USS Gerald, in terms of the international news, Gerald R. Ford, which is the USS aircraft carrier, has entered waters near Latin America, prompting Venezuela to put the entire military's arsenal at the ready as the U.S. naval buildup fuels a speculation that the Trump administration intends to dramatically escalate its deadly counter narcotics campaign there. So this is another international front that, because of the U.S. Southern Command jurisdiction, and then the vast area, and then where these boats or these narcotics come to the United States. So this is going on, and it's developing news. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. The Washington Post has reported this with regards to the disruption that needs to happen with narcotics trafficking, and at the same time degrade and dismantle transnational criminal organizations. That's basically what Washington Post reported. The Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell said in a statement. So we will see how this shapes up in the next coming days, weeks, and months. Very important news with regards to the stock market. A lot of people are scratching their heads because of the tariffs impact, because many organizations or businesses, industries, they literally pre-stocked or made sure the inventory based on the future supply and demand and and with those considerations, they purchased many of these products and filled their inventory stocks with prices that were pre-tariff era. Now, as those supplies have been, I would say, reduced, or they're now replenishing with the new stock, they're getting higher prices based on uh, those tariffs and based on how the market conditions are. So the stock market obviously reacted to that, and there were many analysts. They were whistling, blowing these whistles, and sharing their concerns for days, and then I would say in some cases weeks. Um, the stock market tumbled, and Dow tumbles 800 points with Nasdaq, S&P 500 hammered as investors pair rate cut bets. So it's also tied to this whole idea whether the federal rate cuts would fuel the economy with the lower borrowing costs, because when the interest rates are lowered, it helps the businesses and even an average Joe to uh, get borrowing at a lower cost. So this is how it impacts your wallet and all our wallets. Bitcoin, obviously the cryptocurrency, which is very volatile, also fell, and basically the headline was Bitcoin falls below. It was by Yahoo Finance below 99,000 because it went all the way to under 20,000 or so. Its lowest level since May as cryptocurrencies tumbled. So the world's largest cryptocurrency dipped 2% to hover below 99,000. The token has been unable to make a comeback following a sharp sell-off in October when leveraged positions and selling from long-term holders put pressure on prices. Now, with regards to US stocks fell sharply on Thursday, led by a decline in tech stocks as the end of the longest ever US government shutdown was met by concern from investors that the Federal Reserve's plans for a December rate cut might be in doubt. When the closing bell rang on Wall Street, the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite IXIC suffered the sharpest losses, falling 2.3%. The benchmark S&P 500 GSPC fell 1.6%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average DJI dropped 1.6%, or 797 points, to backtrack on its second record close in a row. And this financial economical impact has the immigration impact as well, because President Donald J. Trump defended H-1B visas, on November 11th during an interview that aired Tuesday night, arguing foreign labor is needed at times because U.S. workers do not have certain, quote, certain talents, unquote. Now, that's what the president is saying based on the lobbying from the tech companies, from these large Fortune 100 organizations. And in some cases, it's argued that why are we not developing the talent pool here? Because on the books, on paper, it looks really good if you have a foreign worker. And that foreign worker may not be investing anything in this country because it's a temporary visa. They may go back to wherever they have come from. But the American will always be investing and buying here in America. And also with a stable economy, with a stable job, they will not lose confidence in the economy. So they will not going to even save a lot of cash or dollars, because he or she may not know if they will have a job 2 or 3 or 6 months from that point. So why the H-1B will continue to be in the news, because although the Trump administration has raised the 100K fee, but that's on future visas. What about now? People are suffering now. That's the moment of now. And we cannot just shy away from, or looking the other way, or shy away from dealing with very important and difficult topics. Immigration is one of them. So Trump made the remarks during Fox News interview when asked whether his administration would prioritize the costly visas that allowed skilled workers from overseas to temporarily work in the United States. He said the U.S. has to, quote, bring in talent, unquote. Well, the talent is here, Mr. President. And I have worked in the tech industry, and I've gone through multiple layoffs as well. Why? That is the question. Because The layoffs or the impacts have nothing to do with the performance. It has always to do with the bottom line, or ensuring that the analysts' expectations with each quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, are being met. And if there's no growth, then the only way to be profitable, you just continue to cut costs. And there's no long sightedness, the long term future outlook. So the company continues to do better, but at the end of the day, it's always the American worker or the person who is working. They get this, they are on the wrong side of the equation. Let's put it that way. So I've had a very rewarding corporate career, but I'm giving you my example because someone with my kind of experience, with my kind of leadership, should never go through even a single layoff. But there are many, many much more intelligent, smarter people than me, and they have also gone through layoffs. So those layoffs are occurring with Americans, and then those who are on H-1B visa, they're still working. And obviously, because in some cases they may be let go, but they know, the organizations know that keeping them would definitely help with their balance sheets, and then letting an American worker go, they obviously are going to save more money. So it's a simple math. It's just arithmetic. So I think Americans, they get it. We get it. And the economy is not working for anyone except the 1% or the 0.1% of the population. And that's why the wealth distribution is never fair. And it's always based on these political aspects and policies. It really impact the middle class. And the middle class, as we have all heard and seen for decades, is shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. So I hope I'm wrong, that there should never be a situation where either you have a poor class or you have the elite, and there's no one in between. And it may happen if proper policies are not put in place by both the Democrats, independents, few, because two-party system, and sometimes it feels like it's only one-party system now, and the Republicans. The onus is on them. This is happening under Republicans' watch. So when pressed by Fox News host Laura Ingraham, who said, quote, "We have plenty of talented people here," unquote. Thank you, Laura. Although it feels very difficult to even be on the same page as Laura, because she is very hawkish and has very outlandish views at many topics. Trump responded, quote, "No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents. And you have to, people have to learn," unquote. No, please decipher and challenge the president. Obviously, Laura didn't do that. And he left it at a very broad statement. Read again. So it's out there. So the Republicans have to ask these questions. And Democrats, they obviously are not asking the right questions. So Trump has touted securing investment from abroad, including, but that investment, Mr. President, is not helping Americans as we speak. And that is the problem. And each one of us need to speak up and ask the right questions, because it's not just about us, it's all about everyone. And we're all in this together, and then it's about our children and grandchildren's future as well. But he suggested in the interview that some American workers might not be the best prepared for various phases of production. Quote, "You can take people off an employment like an unemployment line and say, quote, 'I'm going to put you into a factory,' unquote," Trump said. Now, those who are unemployed, the onus is on you to write letters, talk to Mr. President if you can, and help him understand where you're coming from, because he just blamed you. You're the victim now, and let's blame the victim. Quote, "You can't just say a country is coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an employment line who haven't worked in 5 years. And they are going to start making their missiles. It doesn't work that well," unquote. Yes, for missiles, maybe. And it sometimes feels like the defense industry is the only industry. Well, it's not. But it's a very big industry for sure. So that's the example Mr. President shared with Laura Ingraham in his Fox News, as reported by NBC News as well. In September, Trump signed a proclamation raising the fee that companies have to pay to obtain H-1B worker visas to 100,000 in a move that marked a win for immigration hardliners on Capitol Hill, but posed a costlier hurdle to tech executives seeking qualified workers from abroad. Why tech executives are seeking qualified workers from abroad? Why can they not seek qualified workers in the United States of America? We have STEM graduates from high school. We have enough engineers, scientists, and also people in computer science, technology, engineering, math graduating from our best institutions from East Coast to West Coast. So why tech executives are hell bent on qualified workers from abroad? It's because they want to get their own profits, their own stock options, and it looks good on paper. Bottom line, that is exactly what's happening in corporate sector. Very few companies are doing the right thing. So we've got to ask these tech executives and continue to keep the pressure. I know it's tough. I know people gotta remain patient and have that perseverance and resilience. But these questions and these points need to be asked and discussed all the time. So that's basically what's going on, and just some opinions that I gathered from all different various outlets and include some of mine, so we understand how it's impacting all of our wallets. Now, like I mentioned, with economic policies and financial policy and finance, it impacts immigration. So we still have legal immigration in this country. Green card updates reveals gains for applicants, full list of changes. So what people are saying, the US CIS, the US Citizenship and Immigration Services says on its website, quote, a visa must be available before you can take one of the final steps in the process of becoming a lawful permanent resident. Because more prospective immigrants want lawful permanent residency than the limited number of immigrant visas allow, not everyone can immediately get an immigrant visa. How long you must wait depends on your priority date, preference category, and the country to which the visa will be charged. Code. If the demand for immigrant visas is more than the supply for a particular category and the country of chargeability, DOS, Department of State, considers the category and country, quote, oversubscribed, unquote, and must impose a cutoff date to keep the allocation of visas within the statutory limits, unquote. So there are different rules and INS rules and CIS rules that are already in place, and Newsweek has reported this. So the illegal immigration definitely puts the legal immigration and people who are coming to this country with legal immigration completely in a different ball game, or I would say completely unfair, because they have been standing in line, and then all of a sudden, just think of it this way, that people are standing in line, the gates are still closed, and somehow people they just entered into the gate as they open and tried to let the first person in line, and then the stampede happened, and then everyone standing in the line, they are scratching their heads because they are following the law, and then whoever got in, and then they are just into that department store, if we are using that example. So that's basically the analogy. There's no other analogy that I can help you understand the situation with legal and illegal immigration. So that's why it's just very unfair for people who are standing in line, following the law, and trying to get into the country legally. Unfortunately, this whole illegal immigration, the way some raids are still happening, unfortunately, it's a very tough situation. But at the same time, we have to have this conversation as well with all Americans and non-Americans, and who are in this country maybe illegally. They are definitely trying to go off radar or trying to go off grid, but how long? And unfortunately, that's also not good for the society, where there is then mistrust, and then the cash economy, and then people, they may not be working through the proper channels, and people are getting paid under the table and those kind of things. So final action dates, FAD, they call it the earliest priority date at which a green card can be issued, and then dates for filing, DOF, they call it, that's the acronym, when applicants may submit adjustment or visa paperwork. So important aspects, and there's a whole bunch of categories. I'm just listing family sponsored visa applications. So it actually moved, plus 3 months in some categories, and for FAD, F2B, unmarried sons and daughters of permanent residents 21 years or older, from Mexico moved plus 5 months, from 15 December 2007 to 15th May 2008. That's when these people filed their cases. And then the F2B unmarried sons and daughters from Philippines to Mexico, that also moved from in one category from Philippines 7 days, and then with Mexico moved plus 5 months. So important. And then other categories, non-Mexico, non-Philippines are out there. So you can definitely look it up and check those dates because that's how the immigration system works. So I know people have to wait for 15, 20, 30 years, or in some cases 10 years, 15 years, what have you, and then they get into the country. And then those who are not waiting 10, 15 years, and then they just cross the border because they just found that it's easier, and then they get caught and then they make noise. It's just very unfair to those who are still standing in line and they're waiting since 2006, as you can see on the screen, all these dates. Some people waiting since 2005. Some people are waiting since May 15, 2008, and 22nd November 2005, and then others only in these categories. October 2012, in some cases 15th May 2008, and then there are many other categories. So I just wanted to showcase this so people recognize, understand what's going on with immigration as well in this country, why it's a hot topic and why it's broken and needs to be fixed. I think everyone, regardless of what political ideology they may belong to, recognize this, that the immigration system is broken. What happens next? The next State Department bulletin, anticipated in January 2026, will indicate whether the recent pattern of forward movement will continue, because then it may just stop or not move at all for months, and they may even fall behind. So with that, I would like to thank our key advertisers and Affordable Insurance of Texas, AITinsurance.com for all your homeowners insurance, as well as business insurance, commercial insurance, and then auto insurance. Get a quote in minutes. 713-785-4000. 713-785-4000 is their number. And just mention my name, Zishan Essentia, Zishan on air. 713-785-4000. Or you can visit them on the web, www.aitinsurance.com. Affordable Insurance of Texas. Roop Saudi Palace, they have a website as well, but you can order by calling this number, 832-267-0065, 832-267-0065, and go on the web, roopsari.com, ROOPSARI, and you will see on roopsari.com all these beautiful clothing line and apparel for men's sherwanis, formal wear, to women's formal evening gowns, to wedding dresses, and for all different occasions, and for everyday wear for men, women, boys, girls, even toddlers and children of all ages. So visit Roop Saudi Palace. They also have custom and imitation jewelry, and they have new arrivals coming in, and end of the year sale, year-end sale is also coming up, and in some categories already started. So go to Roop Saudi Palace. They are on Hillcroft, and you can also call them to order by calling their number. It's on the screen. So the beautiful clothing, and you gotta wear beautiful necklaces and gold, and you can never go wrong with gold, because obviously you can always sell gold. You can also buy gold, and if you have beautiful jewelry, you can certainly even get contemporary jewelry by selling them to Prince Jewelers Houston. Or you can just go and buy these beautiful sets, heavy sets. These are very beautiful, heavy, designed, and even from different designers. And then they have light sets, everyday wear sets, earrings to different kinds of jewelry. And you can certainly get rings as well, and you'll get 22 karat jewelry and get beautiful necklaces and chains, and these are gold chains. So 281-777-1457 is the number, 281-777-1457. They are at Hillcroft, 5901 Hillcroft Suite, number C3 in Hillcroft Shopping Plaza. They have been in the business for decades. Mention my name, Zishan on air has sent you, and go and buy gold, or even sell gold and buy this beautiful jewelry at Prince Jewelers Houston, 281-777-1457. With that, I'm signing off with the social media, but we'll continue with the traditional media. And again, thank you for watching. And if you've not subscribed my YouTube channel and Facebook, just connect with me. And with that, signing off. Thank you.